Kevin McCullough.
Welcome back to Times Square. Kevin McCullough. It's That Kevin Show. All things related, thatkevinshow.com. All social media, That Kevin Show. I didn't dare put the word McCullough in anything. I didn't think you could spell it. I didn't want to try to force you to. So That Kevin Show is what it is. My guests are Alex and Stephen Kendrick. Their new film called The Forge is out, and I want you to go and experience it. But not just for the purpose of being entertained. I want you to ask some deeper questions. And guys, I want to come back to this. Discipleship looks different in our lives at different stages, but it always has some of the same ingredients. After I was a young adult and had been serving in public ministry for a while, had been married, had a first son, my life was racked by some real devastating circumstances. And I feel very grateful that there were about 7 fairly older men than me that came and not literally physically, but you could kind of feel it spiritually, stood around me and said, we're not letting you slip during this stage of life. We are going to challenge you. We are going to confront you. We are going to hold on to you, and we're not going to let you go. And I look back on the season of growth that all of that pain brought with it, but also all of the mentoring and all of the wisdom and all of the pouring into me that those 7 different men, none of whom knew that the others were doing this. Like, it was all just individually. They said, we're hanging on to you. But that's in essence what discipleship is, isn't it, guys? It is intentionally pouring into that life and saying, no, don't go anywhere. It's okay. We got you. You're here. We're going to do this together.
That is exactly right. And that's why we called the movie The Forge, because an actual forge puts heat and pressure on an item as it's formed for its best use, whether it's a sword, a knife, an arrow, a piece of equipment. And so spiritually, there are some parallels there. When we go through hardship, when we're stretched, pressured, that heat and pressure of life can make us either grow or faint and give up. And so discipleship calls out the part of us that doesn't need to stay, doesn't need to continue or flourish, and lifts up the part of us that honors the Lord, that is more about character and faith and honorable qualities. And so that's what discipleship does. As we grow deeper with Jesus, follow him with our whole heart, it moves things out of the way that would diminish our devotion to the Lord. So, for example, in the movie The Forge, we see the man doing the discipleship talk about how he was addicted to golf, played 3, 4, 5 times a week. And the Lord said, if you truly want to chase me, move that out of the way. It is not because golf is evil, but he gave such priority to something that was less important than the Lord. And so in a way to honor the Lord, he started playing a few times a year, and he moved it out of the way, spent more time with the Lord chasing him. And it's interesting when we've shown the pre-screenings, how many people have been moved by that. They were like, man, I got something in my life I need to get out of the way. So it's not necessarily about just get evil out. It's about putting what is truly best as the priority. And that, of course, that's the Lord. And so part of discipleship is getting rid of what is not as helpful, not as good, and raising the priority of what is best.
Well, and the truth is, any of us can start on this journey at any point in time. Stu Epperson, who was the co-founder of Salem Communications back when they were a very small company and eventually became a media giant. But before he passed away, last several years of his life, he wholly dedicated his focus to helping some inner city kids that he got to know there in the Carolinas, and personally mentoring them and saying, God has a plan for your life. And this is the joy of being able to pass that on. I want to highlight a couple of resources. You've got a couple of books coming along as well. Talk to me about what they are and how they kind of complement what The Forge is about.
So we just completed a book we've been wanting ourselves. It's called Devoted to Jesus. For anyone who has never been discipled, or they have never discipled anybody else, and they would love a tool to be able to grab and jump right in. When you see The Forge in theaters, you're either going to be asking, who do I need to get to disciple me, or who do I need to pour into? And so this is 52 short chapters that can be read right before you meet or during your meetings together.
Alex and Stephen, great to see you. It seems like the more hair I lose, the whiter your beards get. So we'll
Yeah, right.
we'll figure it all out in glory someday. But thanks for coming on by.
Thank
to see you.
Kevin.
You got
Take
it.
care.
Kevin
Bye.
McCullough from Times Square. Don't go away.